Hello, and welcome to an all new episode of Men and Women Talk, the Mars Venus Show. I am one of your hosts, Kente, all the way live from Los Angeles, California, and I'm so happy to be here. This is episode 180, and I am blessed to have a guest co host tonight. This young lady, man, she's an actress, she's a gamer, she's just an amazing, overall, wonderful person. It is the one and only Cher. How you doing, Cher?
I'm doing well. Thank you. Kind words, sir. Kind words. I mean, I already did let you know that I'm more than willing to come on back. You do not have to butter me up so bad,
Oh man,
But it is great. It is great to be back, having been away for a bit. And I was very happy to be here as well.
I'm so glad that you are here. And also joining us, this young lady. I mean, I can say so much about her. She is a mother. She is a wife. Sorry, guys, she's a wife. She is an activist. She is a podcaster. She is a terrific artist as well. And just an all around wonderful human being. It is the one and only Rasheem. How you doing?
Uh, Fine, great, fantastic. That was very kind of you. All of those nice words.
Yes. And it's interesting today because we start off with a little of an announcement. And I see Shannon is in the chat room. And unfortunately, Shannon won't be on the show. So, and we didn't fall out or anything like that. That people always assume it's something like that. Actually, the host before Shannon was Rasheem. So she actually inherited the job. And Cher is nice enough for the next, well, at least for today, to sit in for Shannon. I do have another co-host. Actually, she's from the Blab days. It's Mosaic. She's gonna be the co-host on the show, and we actually are gonna move the show to Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. back to 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern, starting March 24th. So that should be a really good show. So we're still gonna have the next week. We're gonna have Cedric and Angie on, and then we're doing. Dang, I forgot what the topic is. It was a good topic. I can't remember. Uh, about making amends in relationships. And then our first episode on our new day and time, we're going to be talking about hey, can you be single for too long? Is the topic. So some of us we've been single for so long. When we actually get in a relationship, we don't even know how to act once we are in one. So that's going to be that topic. I'll have more information about that, but that is in the future. Stop recycling these sisters. Hilarious. But
I'm like, really? That's how you feel? That's how you feel, feel?
Right.
Yeah, that's what brother Andre says in our chat room. But okay, so our guest Rasheem, she has a wonderful show called A Counter Narrative, and I kind of want to start off there. Talk about the genesis of your program, what you can expect when you check it out, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So when I say this, I want to say that this is not a placating to the host. I literally would not have the counter narrative show had I not met Kente. And here's why I say that. One, because several years ago, I think it was like 2014, 2013, when I first met Kente around that time. And we met virtually online through a platform. And at that time, Kente was very well versed with the platform and also with other platforms and just knowing how to navigate it. And not only was he particularly, hi Maya, not only was he well versed, he was so willing to share, right? And I'm saying he like you're not right there. Kente was so willing, you were so willing to share information and stuff like that, and also encouraging. So from there, I started doing a show with a woman that I met by the name of Stephanie. She also goes by So Steph. And we did a show called, I forgot, Hers, Mine, and Yours or whatever. We did that for a little bit. Then we stopped doing the show together. Blab was the platform. It kind of like evaporated. Tried to go to a different platform. I think it was called Fox something, Fire. It was something with the Fox or whatever. Anyway, I just kept testing out different platforms. So then I tried Google Hangouts for a little bit. Then figure out, then that was working for me for a bit. I stopped to get my doctorate degree for a while because it was just like very time consuming to do that and a show. And thank you, Cher. I appreciate that. And then coming back to it during the pandemic. And so much of the groundwork had already been laid. So that's just like some of the origin story. Like if the show was a Marvel character, non-sexy origin story, but origin story nonetheless. And the concept and ideas behind having a space for having something called the counter narrative show. And hence the name too is the thing is to focus on providing a narrative that is not typically provided in the mainstream conversations. The show is unapologetically Black. We hit on a lot of different topics, but it's very much focused on Black people's lived experiences. So, and I really feel like it is important for people to have a space to discuss and talk about things that are relevant to their culture, to their lived experiences, that exist beyond the white gaze. You know what I mean? Like where we could have like just a conversation and talk about a variety of topics. So that's a little bit of the genesis and a little bit, a very little bit of an overview.
So, like, give me some ideas of show topics that might tickle our fancy.
Yeah. So, that are outside of the mainstream, anything that's outside of, or largely things that are outside of the mainstream. So, I just did a show called Black and Polyamorous. Right, because that's not part of the mainstream. I think it was very important to put Black in there because even when I shared with someone that I was doing a show called episode called Black and Polyamorous, they were like, Black people do that? So that was a show. Black single fathers, because we hear about single mothers quite a bit, but we actually don't hear anything about Black men who are not only taking care of their children, but they're the sole person or primary provider having primary custody of their children. So those are some topics. I'm going to be discussing the lack of diversity in the cannabis industry coming up. Another topic that's coming up in addition to the lack of diversity in the cannabis industry is I'm going to have an episode called Real Black, where I'm just going to be talking about Black people and talking about and to Black people in film. So those are some of the types of topics that you might find on the Counter Narrative Show, which airs live the last Saturday of each month at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Facebook Live.
All right. And I gotta give you a lot of credit because you really do jump into topics that you don't always see. Because, a lot of people online, they kind of do the same things, basically. And you really do take chances in what you talk about. And one thing I notice about you is you don't always necessarily, you allow people to express what they feel about it. You don't necessarily, you're not like judgy. You don't come off as judgy or anything like that. It's something that I always appreciate about what you do. So have you ever had a show where you felt like you felt really good about the impact you may have had on your audience in a way that you may not have thought you would have going into it?
There is a show like, so when right after you said that, one of the first ones that came to my mind was connected to urban farming. And the reason why that one struck me, I feel like not specifically necessarily for the topic of urban farming, and you have all these black farmers that people don't know that we have a lot of black farmers, and that there's a thing called urban farming, and they out here giving away food, fresh fruits and vegetables. I really felt with that show there were so many people who did not know of their that such a thing exists, didn't know how to get access to those resources, and people followed up and wanted to know more about the list and where's the and it was like 3 or 4 places in Baltimore alone where people were like, we give out fresh fruits and vegetables every Friday. We do this every Tuesday. Like between all of them, like you could really eat, and so you could really make sure that you're consistently getting food. I feel like 2 things. One, I was glad to be part of anything that was amplifying them. And 2, it really was affirming and reassuring to me, because I think one of the narratives that we're largely told is about nobody's doing nothing for nobody. Nobody's out here doing the work. And there's all of these, there's sometimes new initiatives or new things that come up, and we praise those things like they're like no one was ever doing it before this person stepped on the scene. I spoke with a woman, I think she was in her 60s, and she's been farming. It's not only does she farm and she harvests all of her food in the city, she teach classes, because she said a lot of times women will come to her and they'll get the free food, but they don't know how to cook it. So she's also teaching them that, like just knowing that something like that exists. I felt affirmed and amplifying, and I felt just a renewed faith of people, specifically Black people.
No, that's cool though. That's real cool. When you have that opportunity to do that, that's really cool. And that's something I wouldn't have probably thought would have, going into it. But then now you think about it, yeah.
If I may, there is a and just let me say, Rasheem, everything that you said has just like touched upon different parts. You are like actively stimulating my brain as I'm sitting here. I'm like, oh, okay, awesome. Yes, sis, yes. There is a gentleman by the name of Ron Finley, who, it's to my understanding, he's over there in LA. He has been coined the Gangsta Gardener.
Oh,
he's been yes. About urban farming for quite some time, and the fact that food deserts exist so badly in LA and other major cities. I am privy to the same situation here in Jacksonville, Florida, where I am. And so I'm on masterclass now, and I've been little by little like absorbing his knowledge. And I have other friends here in town that they are saying, like, they'll have they'll give away like their extra citrus. They'll have citrus trees that are, overabundant. So they'll start going ahead and just setting up a day to give away to their neighbors, such like this. And what strikes me about this topic of food deserts and a lot of the other topics that you just mentioned in the past few minutes is where we all get our knowledge from about these things. I mean, any person that has cable TV can go on there on Food Network and feel like a genius, because they're going to get a nice little tutorial right there of how to come up with a bourgeois or a fancy French meal, or a 10-minute way if you're a mom to cook up something, right? Okay, don't get that on regular channel TV too quick. And when you can hardly afford internet access, never mind cable TV access, unless you are in an area where your public TV access is that progressive, and likes to, keep the community stimulated with certain things like that, homemaking, cooking, gardening, stuff like that. Unless you can pay for it, you really can't get access to that. If you try looking online, there's an inundation of information, and you never know really what's good, what's bad. And on top of it, well, I mean, those that are working 2 and 3 jobs, I mean, what time do you really have to sit down and start learning, how to eat healthier? You order food, you get it delivered, and then you bomb out to sleep. Because you got like 4 hours before you got to be up for your next job. So I say all that to say the way the media comes across on certain things, it almost, if another race of beings from another planet came here, you would think that the majority of the planet were white and African and privileged, and so there's that mentality that is reflected within our Black communities too. I feel it's very reason, because we as a people originally, we are a creative people. We come from origins that were based on oral tradition, word of mouth, and it's difficult even in this so-called modern era to keep that type of tradition going. It's more like, I saw this on the internet, oh, okay, it's a thing, you know what I mean? So I totally feel you on that, just that absence of knowledge that it's unencouraging at times. That people don't know more about these things. So kudos to you for educating people.
They educated me in the process, so I feel like each guest is an education. I definitely try to approach all of it with curiosity, and if there's a difference, curiosity and compassion from wherever they're coming from, because I feel like I learn more when I just go into it genuinely curious, and I learn a lot. I have not had a single guest ever on that I did not learn something from. I learn something every single time. And it's nice because I get to invite the audience into that learning with me by allowing them to ask questions or engage and that sort of thing. So it's kind of like a lift as you climb.
Doesn't it feel good though? Like, I mean, it does, when you do a show like that and you get educated as well as help educate the public, it makes you feel really good about what you're doing. And it feels like there's a real weight to it. Because, I don't want to call anything out, but there's so much negativity, especially in the Black space when it comes to content on the internet. A lot of tearing each other down and that kind of thing. And so it's always good when you can be positive in a way that's not destructive. And, like there's always a need for more of that, and I always feel like sometimes when you're not an extremist on one end or the other, you get kind of penalized by it because people like to see a car crash.
Right.
So, but I mean, my thing is you just do what you do and try to do the best work you can. And the people that will dig it will, and the people that won't, they won't. It's just what it is. So, yeah.
I think that learning process is such a big thing for me. As you can see here on IG, I'm Black academic woman because I believe in education. I believe in learning in a multitude of facets. And some of the biggest compliments that I've gotten around the show have been people telling me I have the ability to take very complex topics and make them accessible to more people. And I feel like that's the kind of academic that I want to be. I'm still doing some stuff where I am writing and being published in scholarly articles, but I also know that the people that I'm writing about probably won't get a chance to read those articles. One, because they're behind a wall of you have to pay this amount to get access to it or be connected with a university. So I like having the opportunity to go beyond the classroom, go beyond college, go beyond somebody have to go pay someone tuition to get knowledge that should be free and accessible to all of us.
Mhm.
And I was yesterday old when in speaking with certain alumni friends of mine from my college days, and in keeping in touch with former instructors, how there's a term for it that escapes me right now. It's so not confidential, proprietary. There it is. The material that you come up with, even if you're the creator of the curriculum, when you sign up for tenure with certain colleges, they will have a lock on that content. And so when you want to freely share it out, the proprietary measures that they put in place restrict you. And I was very, very new to that concept. So yeah, it's an eye opener. It sure is.
It's absolutely a thing. And I feel like I won't go too far down this road, but it's one of the aspects of structural racism. Holding who gets access to knowledge, who it's very Eurocentric validation machine that says these people can know that these people can't. And not only that, that even says what you say is not valid unless you put it in our language or if you put it in this particular way. Yeah, so I won't go too far into it, but it's definitely a structural aspect of structural racism in the academy.
Next time on Kente's next podcast.
Hey, I love, you know me, I love it. I'm always up for that.
So okay.
I'm always up for that. So, I'm right there with you. And, if somebody don't want to hear the truth, oh, well, I remember my father, when he was alive, he was always known for telling the truth. And my dad, they said, you always tell the truth about, racism and all of that kind of stuff. And he said, if you can't tell the truth at 80 years old, when the fuck will you?
I mean, that's for real.
Yeah. So I definitely am in agreement with what you're talking about. So, so we're going to circle back to your show, but I want to talk a little bit about yourself. You are an artist. And, last time I saw your work, I guess it's been a while since I've seen your work. Your favorite, hey, Stephanie, your former co-host.
So Steph.
Your favorite subject was a model by the name of Rasheem. Is that still your favorite subject?
No.
Oh, okay, so you branched out.
Yeah.
Machine.
Yeah. No, I think some of it too is like who's particularly if you do figurative painting, whose body do you have access to? Because I paint from pictures or images, and they're pictures or images of real people, but bodies are not as readily accessible.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they've gotten to be. So let me rephrase that. They probably were just as accessible then as they are now. However, I did not know how to engage that conversation without feeling awkward about asking a person for that. Now I'm a little bit more. People know that I paint, so them knowing is helpful. So it's not like I'm like being a predator or creepy or like send me some nudes or anything.
This is what you do. You say, Stephanie, I need you to get naked so I can paint you.
Right. And Stephanie would be like, what now?
So there's this G string that we need you to wear, and
Okay, right, there you go.
Well, nobody wants to see that.
You don't know that.
you don't know that.
I look at them kind of strange. But no, your work is beautiful,
Thank
and
you.
I haven't seen anything you've done lately. So, how have you evolved as an artist? What would you say?
I'm getting a lot better at rendering, making it look more realistic is what I'm meaning. Um, yeah, so I'm getting better at that. I'm getting more comfortable with the stories that I want to tell. That's been helpful. I will say I haven't done anything since early pandemic, but I am playing with more. I really like exaggerated facial expressions. So I'll show one. This isn't
Oh, thank you.
this is one that I did that my daughter loves.
Oh, beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah, this
Oh,
is
nice.
actually a local artist by the name of Femi the Dryfish, and he's so expressive. He's so expressive. He's so it's almost he takes on a persona when he like performs and stuff like that, and I really like that energy. And I yeah, so those are some of my motivating factors around it. And once my schedule clears up a little bit, I'll probably start revving up my painting.
Wonderful. Okay. Do you have you shown in any galleries locally?
Yeah. Right before the apocalypse happened, I showed.
It's 8:30.
Thank you, computer. Yeah, I showed somewhere right before. Thank you so much, Renee. I appreciate that. I like your drawing too. Looks like it has words in the hair.
She's a DMV person as well. So, Maryland. So, and your husband's also an artist as well.
Derek is way better than me. Derek is way better than me.
Oh, okay. So what's that like?
I'm interested in your medium. If you don't mind me asking, is it oils, acrylics, squash?
Yeah, squash, right? Is that a medium? Listen, it could be art. With art, anything goes for real. It is pen pastel. It looks a bit like it's makeup. I'll show you.
Oh, nice. Aw. I love your backdrop, sure.
Oh, well, I mean, would you expect any less?
Yeah, like mine is all over the place.
Oh gosh. No, that's the lab. I feel like I'm right in the middle of the workshop there, right with you. I'm like, y'all don't need to see that mess. No, this is my veil.
I think they're downstairs in the basement, so I don't have it readily accessible to show you, unfortunately. But It's basically like a pigment. It's dry pigment. So which is why it looks like makeup. It kind of goes on like makeup too. You like use brushes and sponges and that sort of thing to kind of like move that around.
Gotcha. Yeah. That's fascinating. Wonderful.
Being that you and your husband are talented artists, has any of that filtered to your baby girl?
My daughter is very much an artist in multitude of ways. She's a fantastic writer. Oh, nice. She's also a dancer.
Oh, wow.
And she does do some really nice artwork too.
How old is she?
She's 13.
13. Wow. Yes. She was like a baby. Wow. I know you're proud of her. Proud of your girl. That's awesome. What's it like in Baltimore as far as the art scene? What's it like?
In Baltimore, artists, I guess it depends on which artist you hear from, but in terms of other places that I've been, this is the most accommodating place for artists. I know more artists here that live their art full time than I do in any other place. Like for a person to be a full-time painter and that's what they do for a living is not uncommon. Full-time photographer, that's not uncommon here. Also, it's not uncommon for artists to explore multiple arts. For example, a person who does photography and also does painting, or a person who is a opera singer but also plays the violin and does dance. Um, it's a space that where one, you could live off of your art. Exhibitions are a thing. I will also say, I should probably also note that my circle also allows for a certain level of exposure to art, right? So in my most recent position, I was education director of an arts organization.
Nice.
And I'm currently the president of the Black Arts District here in Baltimore. So I also have connection, so I also get to see art and I regularly go to art exhibitions. But the art scene here is alive, it's thriving. Artists, yeah, I think it's a good place for artists.
Nice. All right. I've always loved Baltimore. I think I've told you that. So it's one of my favorite places. So it's
Oh,
good. Yeah, it's nice
let
vibes.
me know the next time you're in town. Let me
I
show you.
will. I have family there, so yeah, I will.
What part of Baltimore?
Near Fells Point.
Let me go
Yeah.
see your kinfolk.
Yeah, in Morgan State. So
Right. Okay. Seriously, let me know when you're in town, Kente.
oh,
Seriously.
for sure. I'm not
Yeah.
going to come to town and not tell you. I will definitely.
Because I won't
Definitely.
let you live it down. I don't know. I'm gonna say again while we're on film. How many people may not notice? I met Kente in like 2014, somewhere around that time period, and we've never actually met in person. All of our interaction has been through the interwebs, and it does not feel like that when I talk to you. It does not feel like, you don't feel like a stranger to me.
Aw, aw. The same thing with
Same
Cher.
energy.
I've known
Same
Cher
energy.
for a long time too, and we haven't
Hmm.
yet met in person. But she's
Correct. I keep threatening him though when I come out there to LA. So
come on down.
I'm like, friend, if you're offering to buy me a drink next time in town, I shall take you up on that.
Listen, hold on to it.
Look, I'm telling anybody out there who I have constant, we talk and all of that. You come out to LA, make sure that I see you. So, I am the mayor, the unofficial mayor of Los Angeles. So,
All right then.
I've already there's been people I've met out here. So, but yeah, I love it. Okay, so one thing I definitely got I want to talk to you about is um, this is a show that we primarily talk about relationship stuff, right? Now you've been married for quite a while, so you've been out the game for a while. So, but you do remember that time, right? It's not like it was that long ago, right?
I could tell you, okay, here's what I can say. When it comes to dating, I would not have a lot to offer.
Hmm.
My relationships primarily evolve from friendships. So by the time we get to a date, it's not, how dates are like, we're getting to know each other, it's an introductory, that sort of thing. By the time it gets to a point where we're dating, I know your middle name. I probably know a password to something that you use.
So you're saying you used to friend zone guys, and then you would pluck them out of the friend zone?
See, what is it? What is zone? Why does it have to be? Isn't everybody a friend until whatever everybody? Isn't that the starting point?
Well,
No, no,
but
no.
that is the ideal starting point.
I mean, yeah, it
I will
sounds
say that.
great, but I don't. I'm trying to think. Very rarely have I been a girl's friend, then it transitioned into something else. It's
But that's
usually
the only way
really
that I've been my entire life.
that is interesting because usually when she makes you her friend, it ain't going nowhere else.
You know what? I think, and I don't even know if this is it hasn't been I haven't been as conscious of it, or it has been as by design as all
Mhm.
that. So much as I've gotten older and people have asked me questions about dating, I have to like I'm telling them like I have no frame of reference
Mm.
um for that. There are times where I do wish that I did, like outside of that, just like to getting to know a person. But I think also, and I don't want to say issues because I don't want to pathologize myself with this, but trust is a big thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think that being my friend is just a way of getting to that point, like of me trusting, because I'm not gonna put myself in intimate situations with you until after have built trust. And that's such a big thing for me. And it typically does not happen outside of friendship.
Wow, that's interesting. Wow. It's interesting though, because most people, like I said, most situations I hear with women is once they decide that you're a friend, that's where it ends. So,
Yeah,
I mean, like I said, there's been a couple of situations where we were friends and it happened, but that's very rare. I mean, I would say it's like under 5%. So it's usually I'm on the prowl, and something like that. So you know what though, hey, it worked for you. So maybe that's a good way to do it. So when you were finally off the market and you had to make that press conference to say that you were no longer taking applications, were there I know there was a lot of broken hearts out there.
I don't know. I don't know if there was. If they were, they probably didn't share it with me. They probably, just kept it to themselves if there were people who did not did not like that. But
they're still in there, they're drinking in their beers. Like, man, I was a contender.
I'll tell you, I mean, it's funny. I've had the opposite happen where when it looks like I've started to be in a serious one-on-one relationship, that's when all the exes come out of the woodwork. Like, oh, hey girl, how you been? It's been a minute. Yeah, I haven't called you. It's almost like a radar that has happened, and it's happened more than once. So I can only speak from my own experience, but it's just is weird how that has happened. But trust is just. I agree with you. Trust is like the foundation. I mean, this is a person that you're thinking of being with until you're not on this earth anymore. Okay. I'm like, I need a ride or die. Okay. To know that, I could just have that person. I call it not just a person to grow old with, but a person to grow into a better person with. When you could feel that vibe with someone, that's when you know what's up.
I remember, I can't remember what year it was, but it was probably maybe 2019, 2018. And I was really following Rasheem. Now Rasheem has like 8 different Instagrams, but the main one I think was the Rasheem one, and I swear, like it was like every day she was doing something incredible. Like one day she was like skydiving, next minute she's like with the president or something. Like, I mean, like, it was just like,
oh, woman, you've been skydiving too. Yes, fam. Yeah. It's beautiful, ain't it?
Remember the most interesting man in the world, Dos Equis? She was like the most interesting woman in the world. Like her Instagram, I mean, it wasn't like, how some people be pretending like they live in this great life, but I swear, Rasheem's was like for legit, for real. Like, I was like, man, after like maybe like 8 posts, I was like, I had to contact you. Like, okay, like, I want to live vicariously through you. Like,
Yeah, I feel like I post a lot less now.
Right.
I post a lot less. It's also spread out, like you said. I'm on my 8 Instagrams because I definitely ended up setting up one for my art because I think when I met you, I didn't have one for my art.
Right.
And then I had one set up for like the Black academic for like I do a lot of diversity, equity, inclusion work, that sort of thing, and write articles. So I had that set up for that. Yeah, it's so interesting the ways in which social media could work. Yeah, all of those things were definitely real. Definitely living my best life. Definitely true. But I feel like one of those things with social media, and I guess I'm feeling like I'm more aware of it because I have a 13-year-old daughter. I don't like I want her off of it as much as humanly possible.
Right.
It's I just spaces like Instagram for young people, adolescent young girls who are still figuring themselves out. It's just not it's a toxic space. It's a very toxic space. It feeds insecurities and that sort of thing. Sorry, I went down a whole nother path with that. But yeah, thanks for commenting on how interesting my life looks. Now I'm just like super busy all the time, and it's boring stuff.
But even then, though, I wanted to ask you, like, how are you able to do, I mean, you're a mom, you're a wife, you're an artist, you were in school, but you still were able to, do all this amazing
Yeah,
stuff.
I think a lot of it is having the work that you do also be something that you are passionate about, and things that you do also connected to your core values, because there's a lot of overlap there. So for example, a lot of the Jacqueline, a lot of the places where I would go sometimes would be places that work would send me. And they're sending me there because I can speak on a particular topic. I can speak on that particular topic because of how I am in the academic space. The writing that I do in terms of in the academic space is largely around Black motherhood. I can speak to that because I'm a Black mother. So I think it's not as much of a stretch, and there ends up being more overlap when you're able to identify what your core goals are, and not your core goals, sorry, your core values. And then after identifying your core values, additionally, identify in whatever phrasing you would like to put this, what you were here, what you were put here to do, and what are some of the means. I miss you too, Stephanie. And what are some of the means through which you are going to get this work done? So, what are your values? What is your work? What are some means to get that work done? Because so many of them, even if they're in different spaces, so even if I am in the counter narrative show over here, and I am in an art show over here, and I'm doing an academic journal over here, I could still have the solitary focus and goal of elevating Black women. I'm painting about Black women. I'm interviewing the women that I'm painting about being Black women. I'm publishing the article on it. I get the article published. Then my employer says, "Hey, you got this good work out here. We want to send you out here to do this work." So I think it's just identifying my values, identifying what's my work to do, and all of the means that are here to me to do it. So when it's interconnected like that, it builds on each other and it flows in a way that does not pull apart.
All right. Wow. Very well said. Now, would you say you're a cool mom or a real strict mom?
My kid would not say I'm a cool mom. Let me tell you, she would tell you I'm the lamest of all, like super lame. There's even words I've realized I'm not allowed to say. So I'm not allowed to say lit or litty. Not allowed to do any TikTok videos, which sucks because I see these like mom daughters. I want to do a TikTok video with my daughter.
Okay. Why did I see on the celebrity tip? Why did I see little Candace Cameron doing the Running Man at one point? I saw this like, oh gosh, come on, Mom. But she was hitting it in high heels, no less. I said, okay, all right, I'm like, just because you're a mommy doesn't mean you're dead. You know, there's a certain vivaciousness You know, how they what they always say, 40 is the new 20, something like this. I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
I would
hey,
love to do that stuff. I would love to. I would really love to do it, and I would really love to do it with her. The way that our setup is now, especially with her being 13, we do have still things that are like ritualistic that are still connected again to my core values.
Oh,
So every morning, she's woken up with a hug and a back rub. Every night, she's put in bed with a hug and a back rub. And then there's certain times of the day that's set aside that is just like uninterrupted, no phone, no TV. This is what do you want to do with this time? And I think that is helpful. Outside of that, she likes to be attached to whatever electronic device that she's allowed in that moment. And I don't like waking up and the phone is the first thing you get. I don't like going to bed and the phone was the last thing that you looked at. So she has to turn in her electronic devices by 6.
Okay, I like
that will not be your meditation going into your dream state, whatever the last thing somebody posted on some social media site. No.
I probably need someone to take mine at 6.
Me too. You know what, that blue light too apparently is like not good for your sleep pattern.
no, it is not. And nowadays, especially the Samsung phone line, I feel has been very good about updating their phone line with a blue light filter. I have that blue light filter on, just on all the time. And even during the day, I will decrease the brightness on the screen because all of that is bombarding the cones in your eyes 24/7. We're already bombarded with internet watching, and then on top of it, surfing after hours. Especially, the worst thing you can do for your eyesight is be in a dark room with a bright light right in your face.
And that's exactly how we are when we're in bed. And I know when there was a different regime, I used to do a lot of doom scrolling. And like listen to political comedians that would make me laugh about something else, that a thing that would probably make me cry under a different circumstance. I did a lot of like that during that time.
Interesting. It is funny though. Like, do you find yourself as you're getting a little older? I mean, you're still a young woman, but doing things you never thought you would do. Like, you know, like saying things, you know, the whole kind of get off my lawn type things, you know. Or I remember the first time I said to like probably one of my nephews, back in my day, and I was like, I wanted to throw up. I was like, no, I can't.
Oh my God.
Believe I said
it's funnier. It's infinitely funnier when people that are younger than they should be and say that. Oh, I get on my younger sister all the time for that. She's just had my still new niece who just turned 1 this year. My sister is 12 years younger than I am. And I think sometime back in my early to mid 20s, she came out of her mouth one time with, well, back in the day. I was like, wait, hold on. What you mean yesterday? Like,
when I was young, and they're like 15. When I was young, I'm like, you're young right now.
Right.
I'm like, are you even old enough to have had a back in the day pass yesterday?
Right.
Anyway,
you know what's bad? You know what's bad is when you would say something was 20 years ago, it was like when you were a kid. Now, 20 years ago, your ass was still an adult.
Right.
Yep.
Back in the age of Methuselah.
Right. It's like,
I had to walk to school. So now.
Right. It's like, man. I remember the first time I found gray. I got out of the shower and I'm like, man, how I got lint in my beard? And I was like, oh shoot, that's not lint.
Okay. This is the secret behind you cutting your hair. Now listen.
Right. It's like, oh wait, that isn't lint. I was like,
it was only so easy for us, right? Although, I mean, there's plenty of my bold sisters out there they'll have a head shaved or they'll have a tight trim. I am not that brave because underneath this frown, I do believe I may have inherited my father's head. So there's a bit of a melon going on, and no, I would unless it, of course, other extenuating circumstances came up. I would not be that brave, but yeah, y'all men get away with a lot. Y'all take this facial hair off, and it's like you lost 10 pounds in 20 years off your age. I'm like,
right. That's really interesting.
Do you work out?
Do I? Yes, I work out in the morning. That used to also be something that me and my daughter did, but she can't hang with the big dogs. So I work out 10 minutes every morning. Okay. And I do some 10 minutes night times. I'm planning on getting a hydro soon, the little rowing thing.
Yeah, nice.
So I'll be adding that.
Yeah, I've been boxing a lot. So
boxing.
Yeah, that's my thing. And you were boxing too, Cher. I remember you were kickboxing, right?
Correct.
I remember seeing a video of that. So,
and I will say that is the instant cure for insomnia because when you come home after you work 9 to 5, and then you go ahead and you do your workout after after work workout.
Yeah,
you're really ready to fall asleep. So that's a smart idea. Good on you, mommy. Because sometimes you just need to tire these kids out and they'll go sit down someplace.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, this last year was crazy, but it's so funny how everybody was like, "Oh, I'm so glad 2020 is over," as if the calendar was going to change and things were just going to automatically get better.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do kind of feel like there's light at the end of the tunnel. So I have so much stuff that I want to do going forward, and things that I was going to do last year that unfortunately due to COVID I couldn't do. A lot of public stuff. And it's just exciting. Like I feel this new lease on life when it comes to some of these things that I'm doing, and I transitioned to some other things that I wouldn't have been able to done. I probably wouldn't have done if it wasn't for COVID. So you got to look at the silver lining in that. So my question to you is, did you get into anything during 2020 that possibly you wouldn't have due to the coronavirus?
Oh yeah, I got into some different stuff, and things that I was doing got leveled up significantly, like significantly.
Nice.
So the one thing that I do appreciate is it rejuvenated the counter narrative show, which had went hardcore dormant. I also started doing more my diversity, equity, and inclusion workshops that I've been doing like forever are now like the hottest thing. It's because it's in trend to be, Black Lives Matter-ish or adjacent. So that like really took off. Counter narrative show that I had this workshop planned, and the workshop was around unpacking privilege.
Okay.
Workshop. And academic journal, Sage, reached out to me. And they wanted to attend this workshop. This is before the pandemic. They wanted to attend it to film me doing my workshop. They had seen me before. They like my work. They've interviewed me and asked me about some of the research that I did on Black mothers. So they're familiar with me in general. So they asked if they could come out. This is before the pandemic. They asked if they could come out in person and film me doing my workshop. Nice. They'll family include, set everything up. They'll pay me all of this. All right, sure, great. Pandemic happened. I mean, at that point, I'm just like, well, thank you. I appreciate it. Maybe next time. They asked me if I could do a video on the topic around racism or something like that. So I was just like, okay, you want me to do like a 15-minute video? And they were like, yeah, and we'll pay you. So I was just like, asking more questions. So they sent me a mobile, because they're on West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
They sent me a mobile media kit with like a little pin thing for the mic, ring light, something else to prop up stuff,
Right.
all of this. And they asked me to talk on a topic for 15 minutes. Then I started asking more questions, like, what is the things that you want me to talk on? They literally said to me, Kente, you could talk for whatever you could talk about whatever you want to talk about, 15 minutes at a time. And for every video that you send us, we will send you money. But you could talk about whatever you want. Just turn on the camera, and every 15 minutes, you're getting $150.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Right. So that would have been something that would not have happened in that way.
Nice.
And got me extra coins. All of these things just brought extra coins. So it was just
Love
like good.
that.
And also
Love
to hear an academic journal say you could talk about whatever you want. We just want to hear you speak, and we will pay you for it.
Nice.
I
love that.
Wow, that's wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm glad
I
they
mean,
picked someone who has something to
timing,
say.
right. I mean, and the timing is now. Civil unrest having exploded the way it has, in a way no one could have anticipated, in recent times. Now these companies and these academic circles are all hyper aware now. Like, okay, if we don't have somebody Black speaking on educational matters, or on the Black experience, yeah, we're gonna get looked at a certain way.
Did you
let's just say it's not, it's let's be real now. It's nice to think it's altruistic, but it has everything to do with bottom lines and with optics.
Yeah, that's public relations. And you want to know how I could tell? I could tell because there's a different energetic in the acceptance of Black Lives Matter that there probably will never be for Black power. Because if you were really serious about it, you would be supporting Black autonomy, Black strengthening, and Black power. It's a different standpoint that I don't think I don't think Black power is a thing that will go mainstream. Black Lives Matter comes from a place of pleading with your oppressor in a way. You're saying I matter. I'm not saying it's a bad setup. I'm just saying it's easy to get colonized and to get co-opted than some other things are.
Agree.
Rasheem, you sound like me.
Agree. I mean, the whole point, going back to the point where you spoke of folks in the urban agricultural community that you know of that are giving away food, but then you'll have folks that are like, I don't know what to do with this. That is the common refrain for a lot of different aspects of the Black experience. When you talk about Black businesses, I mean, I know out of the vast amount of people that I have come to know and that I have known for the past few decades of my life, I know a bare handful who are people of color and who have business sense. Business sense is taught. If from an institutional standpoint, you are educated to be able to work for the man or work for somebody else for the rest of your life, then what knowledge can you have to exercise on your own behalf? So yeah, it all goes right back to the institutional line that only allows only certain people in this society to have a certain amount of knowledge and the wherewithal to be able to carry that knowledge through. Absolutely.
Now, before we say goodbye, I'm going to be doing what I call rapid fire.
Oh,
So I didn't even tell this to Cher yet. So she's going to
Oh
be.
dear.
So we're going to pepper you with questions. It may not be about the work you do or anything. Just
Lord.
we're not going to get too personal. We're not that kind of show. So all right. So I start off. I hit you with a question. Cher, you just got to come up with something off the top of the head.
Oh, I've got it. Okay. Yep.
All right, so it's a little improv. Okay, the first question I always love to start off with is several years ago at Coachella, there was a hologram concert for the rapper Tupac. What dead artist or band would you like to see a hologram concert of?
Prince.
Prince, I love it. I've seen him
That's
twice
a good
too.
one.
All right,
I like that. That's a good
what you
one.
got for her?
Okay. How about this one? Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
No.
No, wow.
Hey.
I love pineapple on pizza. Okay.
We will talk later.
I asked this one last week.
Later.
I asked this one last week. You're walking down the street and you find $666 of cash. That's 666. Do you take all $666 or do you leave $1 just so it won't be evil?
That's such a twisted question. Where can I ask qualifying? Like, where is this money found? Is it inside a building of some sort?
Let's just say it's somewhere where you wouldn't have a problem taking it home.
Oh, okay. So it's just take it or leave a bill.
Right.
I'd probably leave it, honestly.
Leave all of it?
No, I'd leave a dollar bill. I'd be like, I don't, for one, I wouldn't count it right there. But for the sake of the story, I think I if I'm going to do that, maybe I'll leave one.
Okay.
Leave $1 behind.
Okay, I've got one. This is in reference to your daughter. As she gets older, college is paramount or college is optional?
College is not optional.
Okay. Excellent.
Okay.
I hear you.
All right, cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Sure.
Oh, okay. Dogs or birds?
As pets? Or just in general? Dogs.
Yeah,
I'm going to say dogs. I'm going to say dogs.
If you can spend an afternoon with someone alive or dead who's famous, who would it be?
Malcolm X.
Me too. Yes. Me too.
How about if there is a certain aspect of your successes or failings that you would want to, maybe you already have, but you want to impart to your daughter or the younger generations in general, to either strive for or strive against, what would that be?
Something that I would share for the current generation that like I failed and learned from, or something like that.
Yes.
Failed and learned that everything that I'm good at, I failed at a lot. That's what I would impart.
Guilty pleasure junk food.
Guilty pleasure. Guilty. I gotta see what I feel guilty about eating though. I think donuts.
Donuts. Okay. What kind?
Ooh. Glazed donut, especially if like the Krispy Kreme light is on.
Yes.
I always say that when I get married, I was going to steal one of those hot and ready signs. So when my woman is ready, she just
oh my goodness.
and it's time to go in the back. You know what I'm saying? It's either that or the Kmart blue light special.
Oh my goodness. I tell you what, kid, say kudos to you for being a brother that wants to literally take the signs as they are. Right. Like, here's your sign. Okay.
I'll be playing I saw the sign as I'm going in the back.
I was told that things would be ready for me here.
Right. Here's a follow-up to guilty pleasures. Guilty pleasure viewing preference.
Ooh, gotta feel guilty
Like
about
latest TV viewing preference.
Guilty of. I think Ooh, it's a tough one. I'm trying to what am I watching? Yeah, I watch some stuff, but I don't feel super guilty. There are sometimes where I watch comedians and they will say something that is egregious and offensive, and it's so hilarious. And I have to laugh because it's hilarious.
It's just funny.
And then there's an aspect of me that don't feel like they harbor ill will or that they're hateful of this group. I think they're just like making fun, but it's like so disrespectful and like really wrong and really bad.
It's like, say that outside. Say
but
that outside.
It's like really funny though. So that's watching, I guess.
All right, last question. You got to help a brother out. Now, I've always said Baltimore is my second favorite city, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a young man is taking a young lady out in Baltimore, and he needs your advice. This is a first date. What is now? Obviously, this is without COVID, so let's say COVID is not around.
All right.
Tell him the best date to take a young lady out on in Baltimore.
Time of day.
We'll say evening, like 7 or something.
7.
Well, that's more like 9. But yeah.
Is there a specific food type?
No.
No. Okay.
Let's just say she's a lot like Rasheem.
Oh, look, she ready. She ready.
Yeah, like I got some. I would say evening. I would say take her to T-Volve potentially or Clavel, especially if she likes to partake in the spirits. Take her to Clavel. They have really nice spirits there.
Okay. And anything after that?
Like that's the second good one. And they have great tacos. The second one is T-Volve. I mean, I like T-Volve for a lot of reasons. Also, I would say Ida B's. I like T-Volve one because it's like I love places that when they're black owned and sedity. I like greasy spoon places too, but I just like there's something about black owned places that are sedity that tickles
they have that nice ambiance and stuff. A non-twerking zone.
Non-twerking.
Yes. Right. Now that needs to be a sign. Yes.
Right. I don't think Kente want that sign. Oh, Renee likes Ida B's. Yeah, Ida B's is good.
I love it. Ida B's. All right. Well, thank you so much, Rasheem. You're amazing. I'm not only someone who enjoys your content. I think the world of you. You're a wonderful lady, and you just do great work, and you're a very sweet person.
Thank you.
And I'm going to invite you. This is episode 180. I don't know when it's going to fall, but eventually we're getting 200. And it is my wish to get all of my lady co-hosts back for that episode. So I would love for you to come, as well as Cher. She's part of it as well, to be on my 200th episode. So that's my goal. I don't know when it's going to fall on what actual day, but when it comes up, I'll try to make sure everybody can, it'll be at a time when everybody can join in. So that'll be good. I don't even know what it's going to be about, but we'll figure it out.
And that's fantastic. What an achievement, Kente.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. A lot of people don't know this. This show initially was a game show. It was going to be a game show. It was going to be the guys and the girls, and it was going to be like kind of like Family Feud, where we would have had all these pre things done, and they were going to have to guess, and at the end, the guys or the girls would be the winner, like that kind of thing. And then I never could, at the time, it was so much going on, I couldn't um, the time to just work on it like that. So it just ended up being a panel show. But at some point, maybe I'll do that for that show. Maybe that's when I'll actually put that together. So, but there's a show that I really want to do is what men and women really know about each other, because I feel like, I'm 44 years old, I'll be 45. I've been involved with women since 12. I had my first girlfriend at 12. And to be honest with you,
the visual, I'm trying to imagine little Kente with his swagger.
Oh my God. Now when I think about it, that was a mess. But I actually want to go back and apologize to her because, I was all full of hormones. But a lot of us guys really don't know a lot about women like that we think we do. I'm talking about just the day to day what women go through, the different procedures that women have to go through, and that kind of thing. And sometimes when guys get a daughter, they start kind of peeking behind the curtain a little bit, because now they have a daughter. But still, even then, we don't really know a lot. And then there's things that women don't really know about us as well as, that we think is common knowledge that is really not as common as you think. So I want to do a show.
Though I will say it is twofold. I will speak up on behalf of my fellow females any time of the day. The reason many of us may not or may come off a certain way is because we're ambitious, we're go-getters, we're moms, we're caretakers, especially as Black women, have all of these hats that we're wearing, and then on top of it, we're carrying some hats that belong to other people too. Sometimes it's easy for us to get in this mode, like, I ain't got time for that. Sweethearts, keep up. Just watch what I do, listen to what I say, you'll be all right. If you miss any of that, I got to keep it moving, because to sit there and, sometimes the presence of mind to sit down and realize, okay, somebody is really trying to understand, but especially if it's our men that are trying to understand us, not a lot of people teach our men how to reach out for help, and it's
I didn't start caring until I got into my 40s.
It's the whole
I didn't, and I'm a very evolved man, and I didn't really, I've been dealing with women since a teenager, So, like, what I always tell young guys is, when you get involved with a woman seriously, like, understand her cycle, because it'll save your life. Like, you want to, and they'd be like, I don't want to know about that. Just trust me, bro.
Yes, you do.
You want to know. You want to know more about it than her, okay?
And then when you get involved with the young lady later on,
right,
she will double appreciate you, because then she'll be like, oh, wait, how you know about that? Because, especially, a young chick, I don't care what race you are, as a young chick, is not the most comfortable thing to come out to your man talking about how my period made me feel the other day. You know what I mean? Like, it's not. So being observant, being present, those are the two, things that will definitely save your life.
You better know that stuff, bro. That's what I always say. You better know.
Love languages, read a book, brother. Come on.
Because not everyone, it's not a one fits all. Some women deal with it completely different than the other. So you want to know the woman you're involved with. You want to know these things. So, but those are things that come with age. But anyway, so those are some of the things I want to do. So I'm going to start off with you, Rasheem. How can we get you on social media, and what should we be on the lookout for?
Sure. So on Instagram, I am Blackademic Woman. It's Blackademic _woman. On Twitter, I am S Rasheem. If you want to catch the Counter Narrative Show, the best place right now to catch it live is Facebook. If you go to Facebook and go to my Facebook group, it is The Counter Narrative Show is the name of the group. And you will be able to also see previous shows, engage with the audience. Yeah, that's how you catch me.
All right. And what's the next topic?
The next topic is minding her business, and it's Black women in business.
All right. I love it. All right.
Minding her business.
All right. So share, how can we get you in social media and what should we be on the lookout for you?
Yes, indeed. These days, I'm quite active streaming on Twitch. I have 3 live streams for Dungeons and Dragon games that I do every week. And on Twitch and Twitter. See, I have to remember all the platforms I'm on now. On Twitter, I am at GamerShare. All is one word. On Twitch, Instagram, those 2, I am at that GamerShare. And for those that know me from gaming circles, again, I do live streams for Dungeons and Dragons tabletop gaming, as well as other types of tabletop gaming. And also on Facebook, I am facebook.com/actress_share.
Oh, so you do the actual board game?
Yeah, board games. But more often it's been, it's virtual tabletop.
Virtual. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I was like, how can you do it? Can you do it, the actual board game on Twitch?
What you do? Well, anyone can do that via like a Zoom call and such. We happen to use Roll20, which is an online virtual environment. To be able to have maps and things, tokens for your characters and whatnot, and I'll tell you, it's a wonderful improv muscle to flex.
Nice, because that's what I was going to say. You know, I really love Sorry, so I was going to say, can we do Sorry?
Hey, it's totally possible. Totally possible. Yeah.
All right, you can get me at Kente F on Twitter, Kente Ferguson on Instagram. Of course, the website is indyradio.org. That's indyradio.org. Next week, we'll be joined by, I know I said this last week, I was off base, by Cedric and Angie of Black Love United. They will be talking about their program that they do together, and that should be a great show. And then the following week, we have our last show on Monday, and then we switch on the 24th to on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern. So I want to thank everybody. You guys have a beautiful rest of your week, and God bless you.
Bye.
Peace.
Peace.